for years now, I've said I would not move to Prince William County. I've said I love being in Fairfax County. It's close to everything. We can get to DC when we want. But now looking at, and it's really weird because we already see this because we show properties all over, right? But I think in looking at it at the same time, comparing like apples to apples, I'm really thinking maybe I would consider, if I didn't have to commute, right? If commute wasn't an issue, if I was someone who teleworked 2 days a week and only had to commute into the city 3 days a week, I would seriously consider Woodbridge.
For the trade-off, yes.
For the trade-off, for the space.
Yeah.
I would seriously consider it, which is not something I thought before, just because I do like to be close to the city.
Right.
Your money is going to go much farther in Prince William County than it will anywhere else in Northern Virginia. You're going to see that you can choose from a wide variety of larger homes when you're looking in that $600,000 price point in Woodbridge, which is just not the case in other parts of Northern Virginia. So we want to definitely show you a few of those properties. If you're watching the channel and you are considering relocating to the area or moving within the area, please check out our perfect home questionnaire, which is linked down below in the description. You fill that form out and we will reach out to you to schedule your perfect home consultation, where you'll meet with Abraham virtually to discuss your moving plans, and he'll answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. So our first place up on our list today is going to be Dale City. Dale City is in Woodbridge as well. It's a popular destination, I would say, for $600,000 properties, which if you took the same property in Dale City and tried to find it in Fairfax County, you're probably looking at additional $200,000 to $300,000. And if you were trying to find the same property in Arlington, you'd be looking at
would you add $1 million to it? I mean, realistically, would you really? You probably would, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Dale City is a pretty big area. It's one of the larger of the subdivisions we're going to cover today. It actually makes up almost the entire 22193 zip code. So you can see it's a pretty nice size area. It's 7 miles. So you definitely, there's no shortage as far as the types of properties. And it's kind of like in the center part, I guess, almost as far south as you're going to get in that Woodbridge area, right? So we could take a look at the distance. It's about 12 miles from Quantico, so that's the closest employment hub to Dale City. Is going to be Quantico, which is going to be 12 miles to the south. But then from there, you're about 15 miles from Fort Belvoir. If you're going to be at the Pentagon, you're looking at a 24-mile commute. Tyson's Corner, 27, and in DC, 28 miles.
I believe that a lot of people like the Dale City area because you do have quick access to 95. You are kind of in between those two employment bases, which is going to be Quantico and Fort Belvoir. So it provides you with quick access, right? And that's one thing that you'll notice is that your quality of life is determined by how quickly you can kind of get around the region. And Dale City affords you that. Plus, Dale City is right on the edge, like the eastern edge of both the Potomac Mills Mall and the
Stonebridge Town Center. Yeah, so you're close to Creature Comforts. You're not far from the interstate. So and that's another thing that's interesting about the neighborhood. So it is a neighborhood that's been around for a long time. It dates back to the 50s. So the closer you are to the interstate, that's where you're going to have your older homes. You're going to find more townhouses, more of the older, smaller single-family homes. But then if you move, the farther you are from the interstate, closer you are to Holy Road, which is where Abraham is, which we're looking at right now, you're going to find a lot of newer construction, homes that were built, within the last 10, 15 years. So this is a neighborhood that offers a lot of variety when it comes to the types of homes. As I said, it's a 7-mile radius that it covers. And so there's a lot of space and a lot of different types of properties. And what we're looking at in this $600,000 price range is actually going to be a lot of these newer homes.
Yes.
So if you're not necessarily stuck on something that was built in the last 20 years, then your money will go even farther in this neighborhood. But, $600,000 gets you a pretty nice size home and a newer home.
Exactly. And we're seeing properties in this particular neighborhood here where you could find single car garage and 2-car garage units. Now the 2-car garage units are going to be just a little bit more expensive because they are more desirable. And usually they are more square footage, right? And so just keep that in mind. If 2-car garage living is your goal, then you may have to bump that price up just slightly.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a look at one of the properties in Woodbridge in Dale City that recently sold for $600,000. And this is going to give you an idea of what's available to you at that price point. This is something that sold in a recent past, sold for exactly $600,000. As Abraham said, 2-car garage. You're looking at a fairly new property built in 2003. So this is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath unit. Pretty open floor plan. right? And you're looking at a combination of carpet and hardwood, but you could even find something with hardwood throughout the main level in this price range in this neighborhood.
Which is pretty nice to find. That's a nice feature, nice update. At least a $20,000, could be a $20,000 difference if you wanted to add that hardwood feature to the entire main level.
So opened, the kitchen opens to the family room, has a little catwalk there. So this is, like I said, one of the newer builds in the community, and I really feel like you're not going to spend too much more than that in Dale City. So if your budget is even below $600,000, you're still going to have options. You may be able to get into one of those, maybe a 25, 30-year-old single family home, maybe just a one-car garage. So you have a lot of options in that $600,000 and under price range. Whereas in Fairfax County, $600,000 is really a starter home or first-time home buyer price range.
And the reason why we keep bringing up Fairfax County, because some of you may be thinking to yourself, well, I only want to live in Woodbridge. Why do you keep on talking about Fairfax County? 70% of the Prince William County residents commute outside of Prince William County. So
for work, yeah.
So it's very likely that you're not going to work around your home, right? And so you may start to compare Fairfax County, which may get you closer to work, but then you'll lose a lot of square footage in that decision.
And not only square footage, this property here is on a quarter-acre lot. So that's one of the benefits of living in Woodbridge is not only you get more home for your money, but you're also going to get more outdoor space for your home.
That's true.
$600,000, it's some of the homes, if you find a single family in Fairfax County or even in Arlington, you're definitely looking at something that's going to be significantly older. And you may find a similar size lot, but it won't be nearly as large or updated as these properties.
That's very true. That's very true. I also find that living in Woodbridge affords you to not have that, you're not having a true DC feel, but you're not that far away from DC to make it a day trip. Not even a day trip, really.
Just to go up to hang out for the day. Absolutely. And as much as we talk about, how much we love DC, most people don't get there very often outside of work. So the commute time is really the big factor when you choose to live in Dale City. But if you're looking at Prince William County, you're already looking at a longer commute anyway.
Exactly. But you get more bang for your buck. So Dale City, that's the first property on our tour today. The next neighborhood on our list is going to be Eagles Pointe. It's a little bit further south in the Woodbridge area, but it is a popular destination for individuals moving to the Woodbridge area because not only are the homes in this area newer, you also have access to a lot of amenities. You do also have access to, you're closer to Waffle House too. Not that is an amenity, it's just that if you have had their cheesesteak sandwich, you would know why it's important to live next to Waffle House. But yeah, so Eagles Pointe, we're 8.5 miles away from Quantico to the south of us. We're 16.5 miles to Fort Belvoir to the north, and then we are 25 miles to the Pentagon, which is going to be right out here outside of Arlington, 27 miles to Tyson's, and 29 miles to Washington, D.C. So it's not necessarily a commuter's dream if you're going into the Washington, D.C. area, but when you see what type of properties you have access to, you'll notice that it may be worth the drive.
Absolutely, and also there is quick access to the interstate. So Eagles Pointe is actually conveniently located really close to I-95, as well as Route 1. So, although the commute will be longer, you also have the VRE options. You're not far from commuter lots as well as bus stops. So although you are looking at a slightly longer trek, you do have a few options as far as how you're going to commute. So that's definitely a consideration.
And this is the VRE stop that Crystal was referencing. So it's probably like 3 miles away from your property, but you can definitely jump onto the VRE and get up to the Pentagon or to Washington, D.C. super quickly. Well, not super quickly, but without much effort on your end.
Absolutely. And as Abraham said, it is going to be one of the newer neighborhoods. So that, I think, is the newest on our list today. Some of the properties were built within the last few years. I mean, you're looking at the oldest properties were built in the early 2000s.
Right.
So definitely going to be a newer property. What I will say is that in comparison to other parts in Woodbridge, these are going to have the smallest lots. They're still nice size lots, but they are going to be smaller. But as you can see, this is a wide open community, sidewalks, brand new properties. All of the properties have 2-car garages. Completely renovated. They also all have 4 bedrooms, at least 4 bedrooms on the upper level.
Yes.
So a lot of times when we see single family homes or even townhomes, we see like a listing that has 4 or 5 bedrooms. A lot of times 1 or 2 of those bedrooms are going to be in the basement level. And here, at least 4 bedrooms are going to be upstairs on the bedroom level. So that's a plus if you have a larger family or if you're looking to have a home office. Although some of the models even have like a little office set up in the main living level.
That's true. I would also say that Eagles Point has some of these not townhouses, but they're single family houses that kind of mimic townhouses where they kind of go straight up.
They're really tall.
They're really tall, and they, you have to just deal with the stairs there. So you're not going to have too much one level living there. I haven't seen a floor plan yet with a master suite or a bedroom suite on the main level.
That's true. That's true. Because the way they're set up, because they're all pretty similar, the way they're set up is they have like the living room, dining room area, and then the kitchen and a huge great room right off the kitchen on pretty much all the models. So you never really see. You never see a main level master.
Now I haven't seen all of the layouts, so I can't say that they don't have at least one design, but I do know that we've shown several properties in this area. We've sold a couple too, so I have yet to see main level living. So if that is important to you, then you should check out Potomac Shores, which is down the road from this little development here.
All right, so the next property we're going to take a look at in Eagles Point is that it actually sold for exactly $600,000 as well. That seems to be like the sweet spot for a lot of these single-family homes in Woodbridge. So this property here recently sold for exactly $600,000. As Abraham said before, a lot of them shoot straight up. It looks like a townhouse, right? Like they're closer together than you're used to seeing in some other neighborhoods, and they just look really tall when you look at them. It's almost like detached townhouses in the way that you look at them on the street.
That's true. I do like the fact that, as you already mentioned, you do have the 4 bedrooms on the main level. So
on the bedroom level?
On the bedroom level. So it does afford you an opportunity to fit your office, fit, a couple kids in there, and quite comfortably too. Now you're not going to have, especially with this particular model here, you're not going to have that large of a backyard. There are some of the models that do have larger backyards. You're still looking in that $600,000 price range, but you should probably look at maybe like $650,000 or so to get a larger backyard, which will also come with most likely that it'll be a newer model as well.
Absolutely. And so this one here is a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath. And another thing about the kitchens in these units is they all have eat-in kitchens. So a lot of times you'll see homes that have, even with a larger kitchen, they may have a dining room, but not necessarily an eat-in kitchen as well. All of these models also have eat-in kitchens. As I said, 4 bedrooms on the upper level. This one here actually was built in 2008. And because you're looking at homes that were built more recently, even if they're not recently updated, you're still looking at some newer finishes and not necessarily something that you're going to need to do any work to.
Right. I would agree to that. And as far as like things to do in the Eagles Point area, there is a active HOA in this particular development here. So you have your swimming pool, you have your tennis courts, you have your tot lots, you have some walking trails, which is really just walking through the community. But as you can see from our video, there's sidewalks all throughout, so
that's always a plus.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, and they also have a clubhouse that you can rent out for events, or they sometimes host events there as well. So
that is true.
Before we head on to our next area, we want to remind you to take a look at the Perfect Home Questionnaire that's linked down below in the description. If you're relocating to the area, don't be shy. Reach out to us. You'll fill out the Perfect Home Questionnaire, and we'll reach out to you to schedule a Perfect Home consultation so we can help you with your move.
All right, so the next place on our list is going to be the Lake Ridge area. Lake Ridge, I would say, is one of the more popular subdivisions in Woodbridge. It's definitely one of the larger ones. And as you can see on the map here, it's right at the northern tip of Woodbridge. So right on this other side, this is going to be Lorton in Fairfax County, which means that you have almost Lorton time commute. But you do have to get over this little body of water. Don't let this be deceptive. There's only 3 ways to get over this body of water here, and 95, what is it? Bottlenecks right here. So that's why we have a lot of traffic going into the Woodbridge area when you're traveling south down 95. But if you're at Lake Ridge, you're 16 miles away from Quantico, 16 miles away from Fort Belvoir, 24 miles away from the Pentagon, 25 miles away from Tyson's Corner, and 27 miles from Washington, D.C. So now you're starting to see that your commute times are starting to drop just slightly. It's a little bit more manageable. And with Lake Ridge, you do have this interstate on-ramp, allows you to exit and enter the HOV lane, or the high occupancy vehicle lane, which means that you'll be able to, if you have 3 or more people in your car, or if you just don't mind paying the tolls, you'll be able to cut those commute times down drastically.
Absolutely. Like a lot. Absolutely. And so Lake Ridge is a community we've actually talked about a few times on this channel because it's one of the more popular subdivisions, not only because of its location, but because of its amenities. It is actually, the formal name of it includes that it has a recreational facility. There's lots of parks nearby. You're right off the water in some locations. So overall, it's a great location, not only because of the homes, but because of its proximity to creature comforts as well as recreational activities. I mean, there's a golf course, a boat ramp. So if the outdoors is your thing, you'll see that lots of people enjoyed spending time outdoors in Lake Ridge.
Also, when you're a part of a larger HOA, you just have access to more amenities. You just can't fathom like how much money these HOAs are collecting, and now you get to pool all that capital together to have, as you can see, this video was taken in the fall last year. You have nice grounds that are well maintained. You also have the pools and different things.
You have the pools, they have playgrounds, like they have tot lots throughout the neighborhood, but there also is a larger playground, a fantasy playground, which has like a, typical typical swings, playground equipment and things like that, but there's also like a huge climbing structure at that specific playground area. So sidewalks on most of the area, but you can even see there are a few little pockets here. Abraham is a stickler for sidewalks. It's like a really big deal for him. He's always looking for sidewalks.
Right.
But you're going to find a combination of different types of homes in this neighborhood. So a lot of it was built in the 70s, and then there was still some construction going on up until about the late 90s. So you're not going to see anything newer than that in this neighborhood. A lot of colonials, few split levels. For the most part, everything's going to have a 2-car garage when you're looking at this neighborhood.
In this price range, particularly, yes. Because Lake Ridge does afford you different property types, so you're not just looking at just single-family homes.
Okay. Well, that's true. There's even a condominium.
Yep.
So there are several different types of homes. For the purpose of this video, we're really focusing on 600 will get you a nice updated single family home. So that's what we're focusing on for this video.
Right.
So, several quiet cul-de-sacs. Yep. So let's take a look at our example property, which once again sold for exactly $600,000. I'll tell you, when doing research for this video, I was trying to find stuff, within the price range, maybe a few thousand above or below. I could find a multitude of homes in each subdivision that we looked at that sold for exactly $600,000. So this one here was built in 1988. It's on a 1/4 acre lot, which is what we see for the most part, at least a 1/4 acre with the exception of our last subdivision. That's what we're seeing a lot of. It's a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, about 3,000 square feet. Again, looking at slightly older, right? This was built in 88, so not as updated as our 2 previous neighborhoods. You definitely see a little bit of the age here, but I think the trade-off here is that you get to be closer into the city, so you're going to get a slightly older home than you would get in those other 2 areas, but you're also going to shave off some time of your commute.
You will. And shaving off time off your commute, you'll notice it's going to be almost like a game between you, Waze, and MapQuest.
You're dating yourself. Google Maps.
Yes.
So as you can see, some of the house was updated as we look through the pictures, and then other parts were a little bit more dated, but you can see you have a nice sized yard here.
Yep, some grass. Us townhouse people don't know anything about this.
And flat lots, because oftentimes, even when you do get a single family home, you have to be concerned with, well, okay, is the lot flat? Meaning, is it usable? Right. And so this has a nice front yard as well as backyard.
That's very true. As far as some other things that you could look forward to taking advantage of living in Lake Ridge is that you're right next to Occoquan, the city of Occoquan, and so there's a little cute little street there, like 3 blocks with a
historic Occoquan.
Yeah. So there's a couple restaurants there. There's a couple trails there that give you quick access as well. You can also you're pretty close to the Prince William Stadium complex, which is home of the Washington minor league baseball team, right? So if you want to get your baseball fix in and you don't want to go all the way to go see a Nats game, then this is a great option for you.
That's a fix. Also, you're close to other creature comforts, right? There are several strip malls in the community, so you're going to have access to a lot of different supermarkets. So Safeway, Harris Teeter, there's drugstores. That pizza place that we really like is over there, Presto Pizza, yeah. So there's lots of stuff nearby. So if you don't necessarily want to go into the city you don't want to drive, a little bit farther out, closer to the Potomac and things like that. There's still stuff within the immediate neighborhood to meet your needs.
Yeah. Most of the clients we've shown properties to in Lake Ridge have found them to be nice. They usually are, like you mentioned already, they're not as new. So you can get something newer in Dale City or even Eagles Point. So it's just a matter of, do you want to add 10, 15 minutes to your commute, get yourself something new, or do you want to move up a little bit closer and move into Lake Ridge?
Absolutely. I think that's the trade-off 100%. I think that for a lot of people, they're not willing to add the extra 15 minutes, right? Because you're already looking at, it's already been 50 minutes you've been in a car commuting from, let's say, the Pentagon, right? So now you're adding another 15, or on a good day, another 15. That 15 could easily turn into another 30 minutes. So it's really a trade-off of what's important to you. Do you want newer and you'll spend a little more time?
And larger, too. So you're getting newer and larger properties. 4 bedrooms on the main level, possibly. 2-car garage, true 2-car garage units. And new amenities, right? And so I think that's the trade-off of those two places. So we have one more place for you, and it's a Twin Oaks farm. Let's look at it on the map here. So we have Twin Oaks Farm. This is going to be the closest place to the Potomac Mall. So if you do have some type of shopping addiction, or if you really like IKEA, this is going to give you the closest trip to the Potomac Mall over here. The one thing about Twin Oaks Farm is that there's only one way in, one way out. But we have clients that actually live in Twin Oaks Farm, and they absolutely love it. They're always telling me about the community itself. They like how close-knit the neighbors are. This community is 15 miles from Quantico to the south, 15 miles to Fort Belvoir to the north, and then you're 23 miles from the Pentagon, 27 miles from DC up yonder here, and then 25 miles to Tyson's Corner, right?
Yeah, so this is another neighborhood that's going to be a little bit on the older side, but again, closest to the creature comforts. Right. So as you see, Abraham zoomed in here, you're close to everything. Like there's Target, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, several supermarkets, including Wegmans and Mom's Organic. So you're close to a lot of, you can just run your errands in the area. On top of that, you're close to like big box. I call them my Saturday errand stores. So you're close to Home Goods, TJ Maxx, At Home, all the places that you like to just run around on a weekend. You're close by. This is going to put you in closest proximity to those things.
That's true. Also, there's a 2nd Avenue thrift store for my thrift people around here as well. And as you can see from this little red dot right here, you're really close to the on-ramp right here, which is important because 70% of Woodbridge our Prince William County residents do commute. So how do you get onto the on-ramp is going to be a big deal for you.
You're also less than a mile from the Telegraph commuter lot. So again, this is one of those areas where it's really convenient if you do want to commute into DC. It won't be such a hassle because you're going to have those options, whether you're hopping on 95 or you're parking in the commuter lot and hopping on one of the express buses into the city or one of the other major employment hubs in Northern Virginia.
So now we're looking at Twin Oaks Farm. Again, you do have some 2-car garage units, some 1-car garage units. They do have 4-bedroom properties as well. There are, like our client that bought in this development, they're in a pipe stem. So the benefits, now I know you all probably have heard me talk that I dislike pipe stems, but the benefit of a pipe stem is that usually you can get yourself access to a more secluded piece of real estate, right? Because you kind of you're ducked away or tucked off from the rest of the neighbors. Which, if you like to have your kids ride their bikes up and down the driveway like our clients do, then that is an advantage to you.
Absolutely, that does give them opportunity to play in the street. The pipe stem counts as a little street without necessarily being in the street. So, like Abraham said, you see a lot of variety as far as the types of homes, mostly colonial, but there are going to be a few split levels mixed in there as well. Pretty nice size lot. You're looking at probably at least a 1/4 acre lot for most of these properties. Again, slightly older than our first neighborhoods that we saw. You're looking at mostly properties that were built in the 80s, maybe early 90s. So you're probably going to see really similar as far as condition and updates to what we saw in Lake Ridge.
That's true. Now, I do want to add that if you're looking at marketing material about this community, they will say that all of these properties are 2-car garage units. I disagree. Some of these garages, you're not going to be able to fit two modern
cars, yeah,
in them, right? A lot of people are driving SUVs or even those larger minivans. You're not going to have space to put two of those into the garage. So while they may look like you could fit two cars in them, that's just not the case.
That's true. I mean, these homes, you got to remember, were built in mostly the 80s, and so they're talking about 1980 size cars.
Right.
They're not talking about our new millennium huge SUVs and trucks and things of that nature. Exactly. So yeah, you're really looking at, as Abraham would sometimes call them, a garage and a half,
right,
or fit one car and some storage.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you don't have to park both cars in there, it's a 2-car garage.
And we got to be honest, most people do not park their cars in the garage.
We do. We've never parked our car in our garage ever.
Yes.
All right. So once again, exactly $600,000. We are looking at a colonial 2-car garage. This one actually is 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It's over 4,500 square feet. This is the largest property we looked at today. So over 4,500 square feet. And as we look through, updated, but
you're going to have a 1980s floor plan. So
yes.
More defined rooms, less open space. The kitchen will be open to the like this little eat-in area, but you're not going to have what you would see in the 90s or even the early 2000s, which is at least a great room or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So nice size yard. This one has a pretty big deck off the backyard. But as Abraham said, you're not really as open. Well, this one here actually has is this the family room?
This is going to be the family room, but in like the 1990s models, you really wouldn't even have this wall right here.
Yeah, exactly. So they opened this up. Yeah. So they actually, and it must be a load-bearing wall, or possibly since they didn't completely remove it. So you can see a little bit older as far as even just looking at the flooring in the bathroom there. So you're looking at a little bit older space. Not as many updates as you would see in a brand new or newer construction.
Which is just something you have to just take into consideration. At the $600,000 price point in this particular community, you will get a larger property, but if you're looking for something a little bit more updated, or if updates are important to you, then you will have to increase your price range to offset those options, right? So that's Twin Oaks Farm. What's cool, like Chris already mentioned, what I like about Twin Oaks Farms is that you're close to your creature comforts, right? You're not that deep into Woodbridge, so you're not going to be having a considerably longer.
Yeah, you're not like an hour and a half commute. Right. That's actually what I like best about it as well, is that although it is in Woodbridge, so you're looking at a nice commute from most of the employment hubs. Let's say Pentagon and DC. Right. You're looking at a pretty nice haul. Enjoy an audiobook.
Yes.
Maybe put on your favorite podcast. You're going to be in the car for a while, right? But it's definitely going to be considerably shorter than those places in Southern Woodbridge.
Yes.
And I don't know. For me, I think I would probably trade it off because I would rather spend a little bit less time. I feel like you're already probably spending an hour in the car each way.
Right.
So I don't know how willing I would be to add 15 or 30 minutes to that.
Yeah, it's all trade-offs. Excellent. And until we see you on the next episode, peace.